Welcome to another episode of Connect the Dots. Today I'm joined by Dan. Dan, welcome to the show. If you can start by giving us a bit of an introduction, Dan, that'll be a great place to start.
Jack, a little bit about myself is that I'm right now currently employed. As a matter of fact, my 1 year anniversary of joining BILLD.
Congrats.
BILLD is a construction finance company, and I joined there to help them roll out an early pay program to the general contractors to offer their subs the ability to get paid faster than they're getting paid today. In construction, payments are often very delayed, and the ability for subs to get paid faster is really important. So I'm here to help launch a early pay program for BILLD and to the general contractors in the United States.
Absolutely. I guess for people outside of construction, can you just explain why cash flow is such a big issue?
Sure. I mean, in all industries, cash flow is an issue. I mean, I came from other companies that did the similar things where we were offering large retailers or large or manufacturing companies the ability for their subs to get paid faster. It was known as supply chain finance. What the issue was is that, you buy your supplier or you buy goods and services, you sell them to whoever it is. You get paid 90 days later, and you have all your bills, payroll, everything. So waiting 90 days is hard. It takes so long. Is
Long time.
is painful from a cash flow perspective for any business. So the ability to get paid faster is really important. In construction, it's really a problem because, again, I'm a subcontractor. I'm doing some trade for a building going up. I have payroll and materials and things I've purchased, and you don't get paid until the owner pays the GC, and the GC then pays the sub, and that could be 45 days, it could be 90 days. And so you have all your bills you need to pay in the meantime, and access to capital is challenging. And this offering solutions to help with the working capital is critical to help you manage and run your business.
What's your personal opinion on that model?
Oh, that's a good question. I was telling something about this the other day. I was thinking, imagine in retail, you sell something to a retailer, but you didn't get paid
Yeah.
until, the consumer bought it and paid for it, and then the retailer paid you. I mean, there are some models like that, but it's rare. That's a tough model. All right. It's an odd model that how this payment flows down from the owners who have probably the most biggest balance sheets and most ability to finance these projects, but it kind of flows down to the subs who are financing much of these projects. So it is an odd model, and it's something that absolutely needs to be corrected.
When you maybe explain and build to a contractor who doesn't know about you, what do you describe the value in simple terms?
In simplest terms, it's just you have invoiced your general contractor and waiting to get paid, and would you like to get paid faster?
Yeah.
And yes, you're going to pay a fee for that for the time value of money, but would it benefit you to get paid faster versus waiting? On average, I think it's over 55 days for a sub to get paid, and that's just a lot of working capital requirements at that time frame. So if we can help you get paid faster, is that of value to you?
Absolutely. I read it online. You offer material financing and pay advances. Can you just break that down, please?
Sure. We have products that we sell directly to subcontractors to help them with their working capital problems. So materials finances, we can help you buy the materials you need for the project, so you don't have to outlay all that cash, and then you could just pay us back over time. Pay app advance is just like invoice financing in the sense that you have a pay app, which an invoice to the general contractor waiting to get paid, and we could advance you the money so you could deal with your working capital challenges. We also have a flex line product, which is basically a working capital line of credit that you can use and use it for anything. So we sell directly to subs these products to satisfy working capital challenges, and now we've kind of enhanced it by going to just not to the subs directly, but go to their customers, the general contractors, and when that general contractor approves the invoice, allow us to get financing. And the big benefit here is that now the risk is with the general contractor, so the
Yeah.
rates and the attractiveness should be way better for the sub, because when we're selling our traditional products, I'm taking subcontractor risk. When I'm selling the early pay program, I'm taking general contractor risk, which drives the price of that product way down. So it's very
Yeah.
attractive to the subcontractor.
I was actually going to ask you about the model, but that explains it well. Designed financing specifically for construction timelines. I guess why is that so
Oh,
important?
Well, again, it's because of the delay in payments, right? I
Mm.
mean, construction is you're always paying in arrears, right? You're billing it for what you did the previous month. The timeline then from when I mean, you may have started work on a project the first of the month.
Yeah.
You bill at the end of the month, then you don't get paid for maybe another 45 to 60 days. So that outlay of cash has
Yeah.
occurred for you maybe in the first of the month, and now you're talking 60, 90 days later. So the timeline is just so important because you have to pay your employees, you have other expenses for equipment and things of that nature. Your bills don't stop or aren't
Yeah.
delayed like what you're getting paid from your owner or your general contractors. So it's really important that we kind of compress that timeline to allow you to get money in so you could pay your fixed expenses you have every month.
And it must be amazing feeling for you and your clients when, they think this has completely changed how we operate. This is completely changing the game, right? Where can our audience and listeners find you, Dan, in the website, please?
Sure. I mean, if they're interested in learning more about Build's products and services, the easiest place to go to is build.com. Build is spelled, just to be clear, BILLD.com. It's a kind of a play on build and build. So,
Nice.
but yeah, so if they go to build.com, that's the easiest place to go. And then we have all our products and services are on the website, and there's contact forms there where they could reach us.
Does what you do help strengthen relationships between contractors and suppliers?
Absolutely. It goes all the way from it helps the general contractors with their look. Here's the thing: if I'm a sub and I'm going to work on a project, for me to know that I can get when I'm going to get paid and I can get paid early wants me to be on that job, right? Versus the now world where I don't know when I'm getting paid. I think I'm getting paid in 45 days, but I may not.
Yeah.
So if you could give them the ability to get paid faster, it strengthens that relationship between the general contractor and all their trades they're trying to have to recruit to help do this project. Plus, at the end of the day, is the general contractor is he relies on those subs to build the building and build the stadiums
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So they have to be strong and they have to have the liquidity to meet the objective. And if they don't, what's going to happen? It's only going to hurt the general contractor who's going to deal with delays and things. So it definitely strengthens the relationship. And our other products strengthen the relationship too, because again, if I'm a subcontractor and I need materials for the job I'm going to do, and I that outlay of cash is very tricky. If I can work
Yeah.
with a supplier to help pay that, the sub gets his materials, the supplier gets his money, and everyone's happy because everything's working, and then we become the financier in the middle. That works out really well. So the whole process is all about just dealing with the cash flow pressures of the construction industry, which is just very challenging and not all that efficient, to be honest.
Yeah. I was going to ask you actually, what is some of the more challenging side of the industry that people may not realize?
Well, I mean, construction in general is challenging. I mean, we're just talking about
Mm.
the finance side of construction.
Yeah,
I
of
mean, there's
course.
other challenges around just, everything from weather that can affect a project to regulations from state and local and federal governments. So there's lots of things that affect construction project. We're focusing on the one area that is a big need is on the financing side, right? Just the cash flow and the ability for companies to maintain. Look, I mean, we did a survey not too long ago that actually it get released this month, I think, and
Mhm.
83% of the subcontractors worry about working capital. So it's not like 10%. I mean,
Mm.
83%, more than 8 out of 10 subcontractors have concerns about cash flow. So it's a real problem. And if we don't fix it, it will only lead to projects being delayed or not being finished on time, obviously not being finished on time
Yeah.
or quality issues, etc.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any, I'm sure you've learned lots of different lessons along the way, but is there anything that you've learned along your career in construction and fintech that, you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, if I would have known some of these, I'd say it's in general, where you start is never where you finish, right? You think you know a problem, you think you know what you're trying to solve for,
Yeah.
and it just never kind of works out the way you think it is. You got to be open minded to change and
Yeah.
pivots. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about squirrel chasing where you just the new idea and you're running that way, but there are pivots that occur, and you need to be mindful of those pivots and be able to be adaptive enough to change to take advantage of those pivots, because if you don't, then you'll miss opportunities. And those missed opportunities could be the difference between making or breaking your business. So I'd say the biggest challenge we had was at times dying on the hill on things we did not think was right.
Right.
And other business went in and monetized them. And, on our side, it was short sighted. We should have been more flexible and open to change.
Absolutely. I think everybody thinks like success is like that when really it's a
Totally.
it's a bumpy road.
I mean, it's very obvious that people say nothing is a straight, life isn't a straight line. Business is not a straight line, right? I mean, there's lots of examples of business. I mean, look, Allbirds just announced that they're going to not be a shoe company anymore and to be an AI company. I mean, there's a pivot.
That's a
There was
pivot.
one, but
Yeah.
it is one of those things where you got a mission you're trying to solve for, but the reality is that you got to be open to change and adapting to where the market takes you.
Dan, I gotta ask, what would you be doing if you weren't in this industry?
I think that's a great question. I often ask myself that too. What would I do? I think the biggest thing I enjoyed is consulting. I
Yeah.
did consult for a while. I like going to companies trying to figure things out and helping them kind of bring my experience and honestly, a lot of my failures to help them avoid some of the challenges I faced. But I
Yeah.
would say consulting, helping entrepreneurs and businesses kind of figure things out because a lot of great ideas have failed, not because it wasn't a great idea, because the business model is wrong or the go to market strategies were wrong or different aspects that they were trying to do weren't well thought out. So I think if I wasn't doing this, I would be consulting and trying to help entrepreneurs deliver the value they're trying to deliver for
Yeah.
their company and products.
So you've got clearly a passion for, helping solve challenges and helping people. Um, can you share an example? You don't have to mention names, but an example where your solution at Build, maybe unlocked some growth for a client or, change the game for them.
Well, look, at the end of the day, this is the construction is a tight margin business too. So there's not a lot of uh, money to innovate and do things. So they're always looking for money. If you want to automate, you want to better quality. Also, you need capital to do it. So
Yeah.
I think that the best things we've been able to do is help companies grow, help companies manage their cash flow needs without taking on debt or doing bad. Giving rid of equity when you don't need to give rid of equity to help yourself grow. Financing can be an absolute game changer if you've done it right and you manage it properly. It could really help you grow your company. And so we've helped many. But in my career, I look. I remember talking to suppliers and saying, just having the visibility to knowing when I'm getting paid, the amount I'm getting paid, when I'm getting paid is a game changer in itself.
Yeah.
Because too often we don't know when we're getting paid. Imagine if us, as working for companies,
Yeah.
didn't know what we're getting paid and when we're getting paid. Imagine how
Yeah.
we'd live our lives. It'd be
All over.
madness, right?
All over.
So, from that perspective, that's how most companies live their lives today is they don't know if the full amount of the invoice they sent is being approved. They don't know when it's getting paid.
Yeah.
And that is just a hard way to live your business and manage a business. And we're trying to solve that problem.
Absolutely. You touched on AI earlier. Do you as a business use AI? What's your thoughts on AI?
Well, we use AI a lot we use AI a lot in just day to day getting work done from
Yeah.
marketing activities and proposal writing and just, content creation and things like that. We are using it now even because, Build is also is a financial services company. We actually lend money to subcontractors. So we're using it in ways to analyze contracts and see where clauses are in there, or using it to
Mhm.
do underwriting for some of the subcontractors to help us go through all the documents and everything very quickly so we can get to our decision processing much faster than we could in the past. We got to read all these documents, go through everything. So now
Yeah.
we could build language models to look for certain things and then quickly be able to capture things that could take days or weeks. Never took weeks for Build, but could take days.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
taking them to hours. So
Well, that's
AI is certainly. We're always looking at ways to leverage AI, and it's certainly changing the way I do my job every single day. I can't. I
yeah.
don't know how I live without it right now, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. You and me both. So I guess if you could wave a magic wand, is there anything that maybe one or two things where AI or not just AI, automation could potentially help build?
Well, it's funny in one of the issues in with just like exchange of data has always been like there's no compliance, right? So there's meaning there's no standard way you send an invoice. There's no standard way you send information. Well, I think AI will change that because before it was like, oh, we have to adopt the ANSI standard. We have to drop some standard. And it was so hard to adopt a standard because there's so many standards and different people do different ways. What AI is going to allow us to do is it's going to be able to read documents, know what it is, exchange data without having to adopt a standard. An invoice is an invoice. It knows an invoice. It knows what fields to go grab. So the
Yeah.
cool thing I think is that we're going to allow for better digitization and advancements in digitization faster because before the kind of the roadblock was there's no standardization. I don't know what data you're sending me and the format
Yeah.
you're sending me. Now that's going to go away because AI can interpret all that and it's going to allow us to digitize things much faster than we ever could in industry. So the kind of the challenge of digitization, I think, will go away with AI, and it
Yeah.
is going away with AI. I see it today. It's just going away.
Yeah. 100%. Do you have any advice for our younger audience thinking about maybe to getting into whether it's finance or construction, maybe who taking that leap into the next stage of their career?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of great little companies out there. I think I never even thought of this when I left the university and I was going to go in the workforce. You start thinking about big companies and all that stuff, and then you start realizing like, hey, wait a minute, there's all these little companies out there doing some really cool things. And what I really gravitated to was when I started working for small companies is that every day I could drive impact to that company. I mean, SAP is a great company, but day to day, I'm not going to drive any value or impact to that company. I could kill it. I'm still not going to change the stock price most likely, right? But at a small company, your work and the things you do and bring to that company can materially change not
100%.
the company and your life and the lives of all the people at that company. So my advice to young people is that, go look to small companies, go look to companies trying to do cool things and don't just run to the and don't get stuck on your salary, right? Another thing that people do is it's hard to leave a job when you're making money and take risk. If I could go back I mean, when I was in my early 20s, I was working for small companies. And, when you start making money, you start going like, boy, what if the
Yeah.
money goes away? Yeah, it could go away, but there's always a next opportunity out
Yeah.
there,
Get it
right?
back.
Don't let that be the reason you don't leave. Don't let fear drive. Cause at the end of the day, we spend way too much time working to work for something we're not passionate about. And it's
100%.
gotta be something you care about every single day.
100%. Do you think that fear, um, sort of people are scared to take a risk? I don't mean younger people. I think people in general. Do you think that people are maybe scared of risk sometimes?
Yes, 100%. I mean, it was funny because I used to at previous jobs in fintechs, I used to work with a lot of banks.
Mm.
And so there were some of these bank people were excellent employees, and you try to recruit them to come work for your little company. And they be terrified because, oh, I have a family and a mortgage and all that stuff. I'm like, I have a family and a mortgage. What are you talking about? Right.
Yeah.
It's their risk tolerance and you get comfortable in those, big companies. But here what's so funny is those bankers would then sometimes have layoffs, right? The banks would lay off people and they'd be out of a job. And I'd be like, listen, I'm still here at this little company that you deem to be too risky. So, there's a lot of companies right now, big companies laying people off, right? Or a huge announcement. Other companies have had huge announcements recently. And I think that fear is something more that is a hindrance than it protecting you, right?
100%.
Fear is supposed to protect you from doing something that could harm you, but a lot of times it just protects you from doing something that could really be exciting in your life.
Dan, that's some amazing advice. Thank you so much, buddy.